Welcome to Mumbai, a city of contrasts, where colonial history meets the vibrant pulse of modern life, and every street tells a story. It's a place of endless energy, vibrant culture, and fascinating experiences. In this video, I am going to be diving into the heart of Mumbai to uncover its unique charm and unforgettable stories. So let's explore this amazing city together. Here on the streets of Mumbai, and what you can see behind me is the High Court of Mumbai, right here. And today's video is pretty much going to be dedicated to going through all this old center, which is built during British colonization. And we are pretty much going to pass through all the famous buildings there, like this High Court, the Flora Fountain, Gateway of Mumbai. But before we do any of that, I first need to come here. Alright, I am in Mumbai, India, but it is not official until I get that stamp in my passport. Until then, I'm just some random guy who applied for Indian visa for no particular reason. Okay, so I just used the airport toilet and I have to say it's really clean. So I was positively surprised because objectively it's very clean. So hopefully this impression will stuck after I see Mumbai tomorrow and the day after. But we will see. Officially official, I'm in India. So now I am at P4 underground level on the airport and I am waiting for Uber. And what is good about this airport is that it has the special Uber zone. So yeah, that's a plus for Indian airport in Mumbai. After leaving the airport, I realized that except Squid Game promotional posters, Mumbai didn't have much in common with the world I knew back home. There was chaos, people sleeping on the roads and streets, and for the first time ever, I felt like I was at a destination where you can't just go to. This was a place only for experienced travelers. So this is 25 euro hotel room in Mumbai. And at first, it may not look so bad, but then when you start looking at the details, like right here, or right here, or right here, you notice it's pretty bad. I mean, take a look at the glass. Okay, so I'm just in my hotel room here in Mumbai, India. I just unpacked and man, the first impressions of the country and the city is that India is pretty rough. Starting from the dirt to chaos, but the worst of all is the poverty. I mean, we saw so many people literally sleeping on the streets near the road covered with their blankets. And yeah, it was very shocking for me to see. And also what is even worse is when you see just a couple of kilometers far from that, or maybe even a couple of hundreds of meters, you can see the big new buildings, the towers, skyscrapers. So yeah, I mean, you can look at it from the two sides. You can say maybe, okay, you know, so India is developing and more people who used to be on the streets, they are getting to live in those new buildings. And then there is the other side where, you know, you don't know if that's true. Maybe it's always been like this. So yeah, but overall it's pretty rough, pretty chaotic, and it's not gonna be an easy nor comfortable trip, to be honest. Right, so the first morning here in my Mumbai hotel, and to be honest, I'm not enthusiastic to go outside at all because it's 30 Celsius, actually 32, it will be 32 Celsius today. And this is the coldest month in the year. And I was expecting that it will be 25 to 27, that was the weather forecast, but it changed obviously. So yeah, it's gonna be extremely hot today. I'm all set up and now it's time to leave the hotel and go on the streets of India, and I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, but it's time to go. First thing I felt when I came to the halls of this hotel is the smell of India. Like, it has this scent that kind of you can't really forget. And 3, 2, 1.
I'll count it.
Okay, and the first impressions on the streets of Mumbai is that Mumbai is exactly as you would imagine it to be. It's like very busy, very chaotic, a lot of things are happening, and let's face it, it's a little bit dirty here. But for now it's survivable. It actually looks way better than it looked at night, because at night there were like people sleeping on the streets, and yeah, it was pretty like shocking for me. But now it just looks like I don't know, let's say Egypt. For me it's very similar to Egypt. Okay, I came on some type of main road, and from here I'm going to take the taxi to the old center of the city. We don't have, sorry. Okay, now remember this part from the beginning of the video? Well, now we can get back to that part. We're on the streets of Mumbai, and what you can see behind me... Okay, stop. Actually, we can go a little bit further. Yeah, I think we can start here. Okay, so this is the close-up, which you can't really see, unfortunately, because of the plants. But that is the High Court of Mumbai, which was built in like, I think it was 1862, and it was one of the 3 courts, high courts, that were built by British all over India. And like even to these days, this court is still like working, and it actually is very important in like India's justice system. Unfortunately, there were a lot of security guards around the building, and they didn't allow us to film or take photos, so this is all of the video I managed to get. But I think this is already enough for you to get the idea of how grand this building is, and as you can see, it was built using the famous Indian sandstone, which gives it this characteristic yellowish color. And now we move to our next destination, where we had no trouble filming, thankfully. We are next to one more famous attraction here in Mumbai, and that is the Flora Fountain. And one of the interesting things about this Flora Fountain is that it was built using the British stone. So the stone is actually brought from Portland, which is not very usual. So like India has its own high quality stone, and like most of the buildings were actually built using the Indian stone, and this one was built using the British stone, which was very unusual. So as you can see, most of the buildings have this yellowish stone used, which is called the Malek stone, and that is the most famous one. And then there is the other grayish stone, which is called basalt, but that is also an Indian stone. And like this European part of the city is one of the first parts of the city where I can say that it's like really, really nice. I mean, even this little street, I mean, okay, it's like chaotic little street,
but like you can definitely see the difference from this compared to the like places up north, which were like kind of shocking at some points. But yeah, this is actually not that bad. I said even this little street is actually quite nice and pleasant. And one of the like most unusual things for me here was the distribution of wealth, because like never in my life have I seen like that, like wealth and then poverty is so much like mixed together. And you can actually see like on so many places like really super nice buildings, nice windows, like super clean and everything, and then just next to that building is like another building which is like obviously in a very different state. So it's like very interesting combination and like mixture of like wealth and poverty right next to each other. This is like a good area, but for me personally, like I don't really feel that this is like true India or even like true Mumbai, because this is kind of like the India that you're hoping you will find before you come to India. But then when you come to India, you want to see the chaos, you want to see the meat. And here it's like, as I said, very tame and very nice, and it's kind of like, it's okay, but it doesn't have that like punch that most of the people are expecting, but the punch will come. It already came yesterday night, and as we move more toward north, we will get the true chaotic Mumbai.
My next stop was CSMVS Museum in Mumbai, which is the most famous museum in the city. And unfortunately, as you can see near the museum, there was this dirty part with a lot of stray dogs and rats. And I think it was one more example of this extreme contrast that exists in the city between rich and poor, clean and dirty.
Yeah, we are now entering the most famous Indian museum here in Mumbai, and yeah, we are going to cool off a little bit inside because it's pretty hot outside, even though it's way better than I thought. I thought it's gonna be like unbearable, but actually it's pretty good here. It's manageable.
As you all know, it's not polite to talk inside the museum, so I will show you around with this nice music compilation.
Like the museum tour is done, and it was like a pretty nice museum. Like there are a lot of stuff to see, and what's super interesting was that there are like also Chinese and Japanese stuff, because obviously this guy, who I guess donated his collection to the museum, he was like collecting stuff from all over the region. But also one interesting thing was how like I saw one Japanese sculpture, and it was like the gift to India, like, so that was interesting. Unfortunately, there are like a lot of dogs like this who are just left on the streets. After the museum tour, it was time for lunch and we found this amazing restaurant called Bakehouse Cafe, which is located very near gateway of Mumbai, so it's a perfect location when exploring the old city and it's a big recommendation from me. And also we ate here multiple times and never had any problems, so I can confirm that the food is super safe. Take it. You can eat it here. You can eat that, yeah. Come on. Yeah, so the lunch is finished. We found some very cool place here. I forgot how it's called, but it was very nice food. It wasn't quite Indian food. It was like kind of like a mix. It was more like Western food, but it had like Indian spices. So overall it was very, very nice, and it wasn't expensive at all. It was like €7 per person. So I recommend that restaurant for sure, and I'll definitely be coming back there. Could be a normal one. And now we are reaching the final destination of this morning / afternoon, early afternoon run. By the way, this seems like a cool place. And that destination is going to be the gateway of Mumbai. So yeah, it's in front. And check it out. There it is. The gateway of Mumbai. Okay, so this is the gateway of Mumbai. And this place was built at the beginning of 20th century, and I think it was for King George and Queen Mary at the time. I think those were the two. And yeah, it was built for them basically when they were coming here to India. And one very interesting thing is that, so this is actually the first building in India that was built using the reinforced concrete. So behind the stones there are actually concrete and then steel inside, and this is the method that is still used to this very day. So check it out. It's a pretty cool place. Check out this building. This was the pinnacle of British architecture / Indian, let's say British / Indian at the time. And look at this. Yeah, this kind of concludes it for like this morning / early afternoon round of city exploration. And yeah, when you look at this like gateway, you know, it's hard to really imagine that it's only like 110 years old, or actually like 113. But actually, so it's true for the most part of Mumbai. So like Mumbai was, until the middle of 19th century and the British colonization, Mumbai was actually consisted of 7 islands. And then when British came with colonization, they actually reclaimed the land and connected all the islands, and pretty much everything that you will see in this old center of Mumbai is built in the last 150 years. So it's not that old, but it's very beautiful. And it's very interesting always for me to see, you know, like you know, it was like a British were the one who built it, but it's interesting to see how on most of the buildings it's not completely British style, but actually there is some local influence that you can find on this architecture. Okay, so we just ordered taxi and now we are going to rest in a hotel for a couple of hours and then get back in the action. Hello, sir. And yes, the rest that we got after the morning tour was well needed, because what we saw after we left hotel the next time was pure madness. After a couple of hours resting in the hotel, we are now back at the streets of Mumbai and the sun has set, so the temperature has gone significantly down and it's just like the perfect night for walking. And tonight we are gonna go to the Crawford Market, which is like the most famous market here in India and sorry, in Mumbai, not in India. And we are gonna do some shopping and try to catch something nice and cool. So let's go. And this for me is like true India, like this chaos, like a little bit chaotic, like people on the road, cars passing next to them, motorbikes, horns, lot of stores, lot of people. This is what I had in mind when I was coming to India. This is what I wanted to see. You think that it can't get any more crazy, it gets a little more crazy. This is the Crawford Market that I was talking about, and to be honest, I'm actually surprised because it looks really modern, like the shops are very lit and they're actually selling like modern stuff, like foods and stuff like that, but I was expecting to get a little bit more like rural experience. But what I did expect and that I got here was that it's packed with people, so there are a lot of people here. Yeah, so I was wandering around the market a lot and then I got this idea how this was the perfect place to buy some tea. But for some reason tea was impossible to find. Huh. But is that tea? Yeah? Tea, chai. No chai, then thank you. My search was very unsuccessful and it literally seemed like this market has everything except tea. Yeah, so I didn't really buy anything on this Crawford Market simply because like they're mostly selling like functional things, like a lot of dry fruits and a lot of spices. And I'm not really a spice guy and also I don't even know how to use spices. So I tried to look for some tea actually, but I couldn't find it and at the end I actually didn't buy anything there. So I will now pass through this area which is all like shopping area and then I will try to find something like some souvenir or tea, because those two things like that is something that I would actually want to buy. It's so interesting for me how many modern stuff they're selling. Like this market is selling so much modern stuff. Like you can buy like a smartphone from person on the street literally. So they sell very modern stuff. And the market is very old school, and usually, you know, you would expect that it's selling some old school stuff, like, I don't know, like some like maybe decorations for home, but they're not really selling that. They are more into like very functional stuff everywhere here, literally. In lots of these stores, they're asking you to take your shoes off, which I find very unusual, but yeah. And we just exited this main, most crowded area, like just in one step, you know, you could see all the horns and people and everything. And then, boom, we just exited. There are no more stores really here, like no more people screaming. You can see a little bit of horns still, but yeah, it's much calmer here. And finally, you can walk normally because, like, that street behind us, it's like maybe it took us like 15 minutes to walk like 400 meters. It's like very crowded. In one like very small moment, it looked like the crowd has become a little bit less dense. Like as I said, like the stores got closed at one point and there were just not so much people. And then like the next moment, just as I thought, okay, now I can walk normally, bam, like it came again. And now again we are like surrounded with huge amount of people. Still, I couldn't allow the crowd to stop me from buying some of the traditional Indian jewelry that you can literally find all over the place. How much are like the red ones? 100 rupees. Okay. Katarina. One more thing that are really good buy on the market are definitely the dresses, because you can get them for less than 10 euro per piece, which is literally nothing. Good, perfect. So this is good. Good for her. Yeah, so basically I asked the local women how long should the dress be, because this particular type of dress shouldn't go all the way to the floor, but only little under the knees. Our next stop was Minara Masjid, which is very famous mosque in the city, and the area around it was the craziest of them all. The craziest part and the craziest street I have seen in Dubai. And since everything is so crazy, this tells a lot about this street, which is like one level above everything else. So crowded that you can't even walk. And now we are trying to like find some place from where we can catch a taxi. But yeah, it seems impossible for now, so we will see how it goes. So after some waiting, we did catch the taxi, but it took around 20-30 minutes. And that is one thing to always keep in mind if you're planning something in Mumbai and you want to go somewhere with taxi. Like, always count in this 20-30 minutes of wait that you just can't avoid unless you travel in the morning. So in the morning is okay, but after that it gets pretty crazy and the wait times are very, very long. Yeah, so we found this place, it's called Bake Cafe, and the food is like amazing. So you can order steak with like mashed potato for 7 euro. It's like huge portion, and this is like a real Western style restaurant. So if you come from the West, you can definitely go there and feel very, very comfortable with the food and with everything. Service, everything is perfect. So, and there are many restaurants apparently in this area, so yeah, it's a good place to visit. Now that the night came, the things are definitely way more calm than they used to be in the morning, because we were here in the morning and it was like very wild even in this area, but now it's nice, it's calm, it's nice, and the weather is really good, so it's a nice place to take a little walk. So yeah guys, this is where I will end this video, and I have to say that when I was choosing Mumbai as a starting point in my India trip, I was kind of expecting that it will be somewhat organized city that will ease us into the India experience, but instead it turned out that Mumbai is as crazy as India gets, and visiting this place was kind of like jumping in cold water. But you know, that is what makes traveling exciting, the fact that you never know what you're going to get. So stay tuned, because I will be exploring much more of this amazing city in the next video.